Everybody, it's the Mad Master here. I'm just doing another video today, and I thought I would do. What was that? Got a text. Okay. I thought I would do another video on this subject because it just makes me so enormously angry, and I'm seeing more and more people adopt this attitude about not doing your own research and not listening to the experts about everything. And I'm well aware there's a lot of disinformation on there, medically or otherwise. There's a lot of things that you have to really use critical thinking to go through, but on the other end, it's like these two polarized sides. So you have the crazy Q stuff and all that. You have this whatever horse the warmer people. Of course there's a lot of mixed ideas about that whole controversy. So you have that side, and then you have this other side, this institutional establishment side that can be, maybe it's a little more organized and a little more factual in certain ways, but is no less compromised than the other side, the more do your own research side. So we have these two warring factions. So there's a middle ground in there somewhere. So I think you have to really critically look at things and do your own research. Do your own research plus critical thinking, using critical thinking skills. And that's really what it should be about. But yet this is getting lost in this whole don't do your own research, or attacks on people that look into scientific studies. There's all these articles coming out, Washington Post, New York Times. It's like there was even a New York Times, I think it was the New York Times early, like it was February or January of this year, that said not to use critical thinking skills. And I'm just like, have we come down that far where the propaganda is so incessantly transparent that people are telling people not to use critical thinking skills? I mean, what planet am I on anymore? What country am I in? And this is all just a result of the way that our society's gone the last, I think Trump ushered this in, as far as the reaction to him rather than himself. Obviously his supporters and many of the things that he stood for were, probably would not be acceptable to me, for the most part. But the other side is just so obnoxious at this point. And the other side, including trust the experts, don't do your own studies, don't read. It's like almost saying don't read, just watch CNN. I'm just gonna watch CNN and follow everything they say because it's all the truth. I know. It's like if people would have done that 20 years ago, we would have been at war with Iran, and also, and we would, the neocons would have had their complete way with the Middle East, and people would just trust the experts 100%, never question. It's like totally They Live, the movie They Live with John Carpenter type of stuff. Like, it's like you don't even have to wear these special sunglasses to see how opaque their messaging is, because they just come out right and say it. We don't even, it's one thing watching the movie They Live, which, John Carpenter and along with Brian De Palma are probably my two favorite filmmakers of all time. So it's one thing, and for various reasons, not just the political stuff with They Live. I saw it in the theater. Actually, it had been out, but I saw it at the budget seats with my friend, when I was a kid growing up with his mom. It was awesome. I was like shaking afterward. I was like, man, that was such a good film. And I was pretty obsessed with it from then on, and I saw all sorts of allegories in there and all sorts of things to relate to even that society of, I think it was 89 or 90, we saw it in the budget seats. So this whole thing about don't think, it's almost like saying don't think. It's like, that's one of the hidden messages in They Live. Like when he puts on the glasses to say, don't think, obey, like the face mask that I that I wore, that I bought. But I have two of them. Actually, one's hanging on my wall now because I thought this whole thing was over in the summer, having to do that shit. Um, it has the They Live alien, politician alien from the final scene or whatever, and it says obey. It's like basically they're coming out right and saying it in the news. It's like, read between the lines. It's like, oh, why doing your own research is wrong. Just follow the experts. Just follow the science. Only the scientists we have, though, only the scientists that have these multi-million-dollar contracts or with the government or whatever. Even people like Jay Bachara or Monica Gandhi or, Zubin Damani. I mean, people like that are like, they're still scientists. They're still accredited. Went to, Harvard, Yale, Stanford, whatever. But no, we have to listen to only one man, only that one guy, who's 80 years old. It's crazy. I know. Maybe he's a vampire. He's almost like the Rumsfeld of the current crisis, or the Dick Cheney, because you look at, the certain lab things that have come out from The Intercept. I know Jimmy Dore likes to bash The Intercept nowadays, but their work on this subject the last few months, has been exemplary. And I know Glenn Greenwald left The Intercept for obvious for the reasons that he stated. But this whole thing about the lab stuff is just insane. I never expected it in a certain way, but it's now just pretty much conserved. Watch Sagar Breaking Points, his recent video on this. It's just like, wow, everything that I suspected, the creepiness of this whole crisis has been laid bare for all the world to see if they want to see it. And it's pretty scary stuff. I don't know what the reasoning behind it is. It could be more benign reasoning, but either way, just like they say on Twitter, is this whole meme about 6 months later, what is it? A conspiracy theory right now, 6 months later will be, front page news. So pretty scary stuff. But anyways, that's not what this video is about. It's just about this whole critical thinking is wrong, or, trust the experts only, don't do your own research. And, even the people that they did a study of people that wouldn't take the, what, which I'm not going to say in this video. And they found either it was really like less I'm just going to straight out and say this because this is just the study that I read. Either it was really uneducated people or supremely educated people. So like people with PhDs and stuff, or really like people, high school dropouts or something like that. So you have these like polar ends of the not people in the middle that had bachelor's degrees or masters. It was like PhDs and dropouts that won't, take this medical procedure that they're trying to desperately seeming to push on people at this point. So, yeah, what does that say? I don't know. It's an interesting thing like that. It's just so bizarre. So, yeah, I think you should do your own research if you want to. I think you should use critical thinking skills. Study logic, study critical thinking, study logical fallacies, along with doing your own research, because those two things go hand in hand. If you do your own research and you don't have critical thinking skills, it is a science, critical thinking, or, you don't study logic, which was something I took in college, but I'm not making it, this isn't a stand-up joke. I actually did drop it because I was just having kind of a hard time in school at that point. Just couldn't concentrate, but I do have like a logic textbook around here somewhere. But yeah, I think all the critical thinking and logic, but do your own research as well. What's wrong with that? Nothing. That's what they leave out of these articles. But don't do your own research. Follow whoever's on CNN or MSNBC. Yeah. I mean, I see people sharing memes on Facebook, and I'm just, oh my God, my facepalm city, And we can't be dragged down into that. We got to encourage people. We got to just say, what you're saying is wrong. What you're saying is disgusting. It's like They Live, but without, if you had the glasses on all the time, They don't even, they're not even hiding things anymore like they used to. You know, that's the thing. This propaganda is just out in, you know, it's in your face every day. They're not even hiding this stuff. Just little things like this, I mean. And yeah, you know, maybe the intention is like, oh my God, all this disinformation, you know, all this Q crap and all this Trump stuff, or the My Pillow guy. Oh my God, people follow that. You should never listen to them, and don't do your own research. Just follow the scientists, what they say. It's like, yeah, those people, like Mike Lindell is a hilarious moron, but it doesn't mean don't do your own research. That's all I've done. I didn't go to university. You know, I went to a technical college and got a degree, but I don't have a bachelor's degree. I don't have a master's degree. I read books, you know, I read studies, I watch videos, I try to watch a variety of perspectives. And what they should be saying is watch a variety of perspectives and make up your own mind. They shouldn't be saying don't do your own research. So implicitly what they're saying is just follow what they're saying. Just follow what this media source is saying, what Mr. Penis Rocket is saying, you know, in the Washington, I mean, what he's paying for in the Washington Post, because he owns it, Mr. Bezos. So that's what they're saying. They're not saying, well, you know, don't follow disinformation, listen to the experts, but, you know, don't do your own, don't look into things. There was these articles about don't look into things, like you'll be down a rabbit hole. Yeah. And that's why you have the left, people, liberals. Like Bill Maher was talking about the current crisis and how many liberals believed like certain statistics that they when they were asked these wrong statistics, they were like, oh, that must be true. And they believe these things that they're, you know, all these crazy like stats on, you know what, the crisis we're living in. This isn't about that. This is about everything. I don't, you know, at this point, I don't care as much about the crisis, you know what, the spiked ball crisis, as much as the actual deep politics that we're dealing with. It's so crazy, you know. So like them trying to cancel Russell Brand. Well, Russell Brand will have no liberal talk shows to go on, so he'll have to go on Tucker Carlson. They're just forcing him to do these things, like Glenn Greenwald. You know, when was the last time Rachel Maddow invited Glenn Greenwald on the show? You know, he probably could be on Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher. Bill Maher might invite him, but Bill Maher's beyond, I mean, I guess he's beyond cancellation because people don't know what to do, because he's like, I like Biden. He's like, Bill Maher's like, I like Biden, but by the way, you know, they're just like, the blue check marks, you know, their limited brains are like, so they don't go and cancel Bill Maher. But anyways, I'm sure he'll be canceled eventually, like completely canceled eventually anyways. So fuck that shit. Do your own research, read books, you know, use critical thinking skills, study logic, study critical thinking. That's all.